you're getting set to watch another Cool Cars, Interesting People episode, may I suggest having a Willy Wah while you watch from Gas King. Gas King, it's the way to go, and the brain freeze is extra. This is a 2019 Dodge Ram Longhorn, provided to us by a great friend of the show, Neil G. of Northside Lethbridge Dodge. The first thing you're going to notice is how much legroom you've got in front and in the back seat. It's like having your own car on a truck chassis. It's the roomiest pickup in the business. And what I really liked is that there's no annoying hump to deal with on the floorboard. And take a look at the size of Command Central. You really are able to see everything from your GPS coordinates to what's sneaking up behind you. You gotta love the step-down floorboard that lets us short-legged people get into the cab with ease. And another nice feature is the remote tailgate release. Another great feature for those of you who managed to pass your driver's test but still hate to parallel park, it'll do it for you. Under the hood is the renowned 5.7-liter Hemi V8. It's a big, bold truck, and it's perfect for our very special guest who has been working for a big and bold company for the past 20 years. Dan Niehaus has been living in Las Vegas, Nevada, working for none other than the world-renowned Cirque du Soleil. Dan is originally from Lethbridge and got his start coaching kids at Westwind Gymnastics. One day, he got a call asking if he'd be interested in being a coach for the show Mystère that was playing in Vegas. It was an offer he couldn't refuse. Later, he helped create Love, which is a tribute show to the Beatles, and is currently working on a brand new Cirque show that's bound to become another massive hit when it opens this fall. Dan was in town visiting his parents at his childhood home. That's where this journey begins. I'm Mark Campbell. This is Cool Cars, Interesting People. Dan Niehaus!
Good morning, Mark Campbell. How are you, sir?
Come on in the house.
All right. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. The biggest and the best cab in the business for the biggest and best something for you.
Whatever you want to call me today, you're more than welcome to call me that.
Okay. So this...
Oh my God, it's hot, so high. It's like I have to sit up, right?
Do you need a
I might need
seat?
a cushion. The stewardess will be by shortly, I'm sure.
That's right. So this is your childhood home.
It sure is. I've lived on Scenic Drive all my life.
And just to you've been gone for a good 20 years now?
Yeah, it's my 20th anniversary this year.
Unbelievable. So how does it feel to come back to your hometown, see where you are? What are you thinking?
Well, you know, I just read that it's like it's reached over 100,000 people, which was you know, a really great landmark, I think, for the city. And I've been walking every day, and I've been kind of going each direction, and I'm so impressed with things. I mean, landscape is beautiful here. The trees are magnificent, but I've noticed how many people have upgraded their homes and architecturally trying to bring it into this, you know, almost to 2020. So I was really impressed with that, and I can't believe how much the really good infrastructure still available here. It's not deteriorating or decaying or anything. I think it's very current. I'm really happy with that. I just spent 5 weeks in Montreal, and of course, when I go driving with my dad, he complains about a pothole here, a pothole there. I said, well, you have no idea about potholes until you go to Montreal, and then every other place is a suspension place because you have to get it replaced. So I'm really impressed with how the city.
Can we just confirm that I did not pay you to say any of this?
You didn't say any of that, Councilman. No, you didn't say anything. No, but I find it really is a beautiful city to come back to for sure.
Well, and it almost feels like it's probably like January, the temperature right now compared to Vegas. So,
oh my goodness!
I mean, we had some pretty nice days, but I mean, it's much cooler. At least for July 1st when you were
here. Last night at the lake, it was 8 degrees. We were sitting there watching the fireworks. So the fireworks were great, by the way. I loved them. But I look at the Vegas weather; it's 42, 43, and that's so that's a pretty big swing in temperature. And I really don't miss it. I'm going to go home on Wednesday, and that temperature will still be there. So
I guess, you know, we all put it into perspective when you're dealing with the 42s and the 43 Celsius, of course, and then, you know, we're dealing with the minus 35-ish.
Yeah.
But 42 can be just as overwhelming as a minus in the wintertime.
Yeah, actually, you know, in May or even late April when we hit 100 for the first time, everybody's like, oh my goodness, it's going to be a long year. And then when it hits 115, we don't go outside, just like when it's minus 35 here. We just stay inside. We stay and we look outside, and it's beautiful and stuff, but it's too dang hot. And so it's like too darn cold. So We stay inside on those days, and we look forward to those days when it goes back to 100. So that's like a good temperature. But this summer, this winter and fall were amazing. We've had 4.5 inches of rain, and we only get 4 inches of rain a year. So we've already surpassed our...
How does Vegas deal with that? Is that like Storm Watch 2019?
Oh yeah, it's like the most amazing thing ever. And they always say, "Oh, it's going to be a cool and cloudy day. It's a winter day." And I was like, "No, you don't have no idea what's going on." And we had snow again this year. We had a little skiff, so that's always. And they had a snow day.
What, kids couldn't go to school because it was snowing?
Because it snowed. Because it's only because the buses don't have the correct tires to be able to drive in any kind of subjective type of weather. So they just don't go. So I think that's pretty funny. Everybody has a good laugh. But but after this long, I've kind of adapted to it. It's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you worked many years with Westwind Gymnastics, which is where you got your start in this whole gymnastic. The start of it all to get to Vegas. So that experience, and I mean some of the kids you must still keep in touch with, and how they've. I mean, what does gymnastics do for a kid? I mean, what is the best part about getting into gymnastics? And they start 3 or 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
So what's the good in that?
Well, there's so many great attributes that gymnastics brings to any individual. Doesn't matter what sport they actually end up in. And the show I'm working in now, where it's mostly got to do with stunt world, the best stunt people were all former gymnasts. So it can translate from just basic general movement and understanding and gaining strength, power, flexibility, endurance, all those things that everybody needs to be a good athlete or a good actor or a good performer. That's the foundation right there. So I still am a strong advocate of having children go into gymnastics, because I think the benefits of what it brings goes everywhere all the time.
Are you a proponent? I mean, you've got kids who are getting into hockey, and then in some cases that's it, hockey, that's it. That's all they do. And I know a guy like Bobby Orr will say, don't just play hockey, do everything else. Play baseball, do gymnastics, do soccer. What's your take on all of that?
I absolutely completely understand where he's coming from, and it's kind of ironic that you mentioned that. The Golden Knights contacted me in the off season here, and we talked a little bit in the Knights. Cirque and the Knights have a good connection. Yep. And what they were looking for is someone to teach some basic gymnastics to their players.
Really?
So we developed a small program that we've already started working with their trainers for them to understand the benefits of gymnastics and movement, and then we will in turn help with their player development, especially in the summer league, with the summer program they have going right now. So gymnastics, even though they're a little bit later in life and in their career, they're trying to teach those players some other skills.
What does that do? Does that just work on flexibility?
Agility, any kind of spatial orientation that maybe a hockey player is not used to, upside down, rotations and things like that.
Upside down.
Well, when you see what some of the hits and kind of spills that they do take, it's about landing correctly. It's about prevention and all those things. So I think it's a great, and it's something else for them to do. We're also, hockey teams have evolved a lot, and what we do even in the art and entertainment world, we have active rest, we call it, which means you're still working, but you're not necessarily working on hockey.
Right.
You're working something else. So you're giving the body a break, but the mind keeps active.
That's good.
So that's something that we do a lot of here at Cirque the last couple of years too.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to go into Java the Hut. Do you drink coffee? Mm-hmm. All right, let's do some coffee.
Love coffee.
All right, welcome to Java the Hut, our traditional. Hey, Brian.
Mucho gusto, Mark.
Good morning.
He's never seen on camera. He's just in the back. So anyway, let's think about this 20 years of being in Cirque du Soleil. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, what was it like to get that call, 20 years ago? It said, Dan, would you like to come and work a show? What was that like?
Well, the call came to me, and of course I looked at my wife naturally out of reflex, and then she just said, exactly. But we were ready for a change. We needed something new. The kids were young.
Yeah.
I did my time here and in gymnastics in the elite sport. So when I got the call from Montreal, they said, "Can you be there in 2 weeks?"
Ooh,
so that was kind of a shocking type thing.
Yeah.
And so originally I thought I was going to Montreal right away to learn about the company and circus arts, but they took me straight to Vegas 2 weeks later, and they put me on the stage with 40 artists and said, "Okay, go." So, which is a very typical Cirque wave thing. It's a very vertical learning curve. There's no curve. It's just straight up.
Go learn it.
You hit it and you figure it out. Yeah.
So, what were you hired as?
I was hired as a head coach for Mystère.
Okay. Strictly Mystère.
Strictly Mystère. Yeah. So, of course, then at that time there was Owen Mystère. And Mystère celebrated its 25th anniversary this year.
And it's still going.
It's still going.
They're still
and
drawing
O has just finished its 20th anniversary. So,
unbelievable.
So those productions are still doing really well and really strong.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was other shows that came on board. It was Humanity and Ka.
Yep.
And then I went for Creation of Love in 2005.
Yeah.
Which was a great thing because I got to meet the Beatles and George.
You son of a bitch.
That was a real surreal moment meeting them.
gosh.
And I met them a couple times, and
Yeah.
you get your pictures and you get to meet Yoko and that group. So I did Love from that period on, and then in 2014 our company realigned some of the things and shifted its direction, and then at that point I became the senior advisor of coaching and performance for Cirque in Vegas. So I was kind of in charge of those group of coaches. I call my partners in coaching. They're amazing people I get to work with. And we have some 30 artist coaches too. So we've got our little hub of coaches in that community.
Yeah. The Cirque show, or the Mystère show.
Yeah.
Because we got to go down as a crew and do the whole thing. And
Yeah.
It's just, are those two brothers still doing their thing?
The Lordor brothers are still there.
Are you kidding me?
They're absolutely amazing. And actually, their skill was always one thing. The way that act is staged is magnificent.
Yeah.
Like, it's simple, it's beautiful. Franco Dragone directed piece. But now it's more impressive that they're of that vintage and still doing that act.
Yes.
It's mind-boggling, and people appreciate that more than just because they did see them 20 years ago.
And they're still, my gosh, so they must just stay in shape.
They're in amazing shape. Marco and Paul are, and they're really, they're professionals.
Yeah.
These are professional acrobats, so they keep in shape and do what they need to do to be in the show.
Wow,
It's great.
Talk about where you get your group of athletes. They're gymnasts. What are they? Where do they come from? And you've got a massive international core of athletes.
Yeah,
too.
we have a huge casting department actually, and around the world, everywhere. And we have one centralized unit that's in headquarters in Montreal, but we also have a division also in resident show divisions in Vegas. And essentially, when we have a show that's already in production or running up and running, we will simply fill out a request form, if you want to say, about I need a discipline of a high-level contortionist. This is the size. This is the experience I want. Da 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 da. And then casting will present us with 6 or 8 candidates, and always done just by they send us roles on. And you sit at your computer and you watch people as you go, and they'll give you availability as far as how long immigration is going to take. That's a big thing.
Okay.
And then all you do is talk with the artistic team, and you decide on a candidate, and you push play, and the contracts hits, and they contract, and all of a sudden you're delivered an acrobat within 6 or 8 weeks, depending on what your needs are. So, they've got that system cold. They've done really good at that. But also with technology today, a lot of the videos that are coming in, and all of the talent is coming from YouTube.
Really?
So we'll always get links onto people's YouTube and look at that and look at what skills they do. But it's so diversified now.
Yeah.
The really in-demand acrobats are more than a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
They've got 5 or 6 disciplines under them.
Yeah.
And that's really useful in a show. Because you want to be a Swiss Army acrobat, we call them, the ones that can fill in spots and do lots of different things. Those are where you get that's the real attributes.
I always think when I watch America's Got Talent, I say, well, that'd be a Cirque guy. Do you ever get guys from America's Got Talent?
Yeah, of course we get people like that, and it's always interesting because they, sometimes the people you want to sign to a contract are not the stars yet.
Yeah, they're getting there.
They're getting there. So you want the ones that are knocking on the door, and that's with this show that I'm working on now, Run. They want to be in the stunt industry, so stunt people are very expensive. Stunt coordinators, stunt people who have already in the industry. But the people we have now are very good, talented, and in shape people, but they want to learn that next step.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we look at too. Those America Got Talent people, yeah, they have skills and they have an act that's already developed. Yeah. Where Cirque likes to be able to manipulate that act and develop it themselves. So sometimes they make it in, sometimes they don't necessarily do. And the star of the show is the show. It's not the people inside.
That's a real philosophy of Cirque, isn't it?
Yeah, the star is the show, and of course, we take care of our employees, our acrobats, and the acrobats take care of the show.
Sure.
So in that sense, they're stars within the big star.
One thing I noticed on Cirque shows is that there's the things that are going on, the main stuff, but you always have these characters all over the place. That's a big thing. Explain it, because I just think, well, that guy, he's doing some stuff, but he's not really. He's just there.
Yeah.
So what's the philosophy there?
Well, of course, we want to try to focus the viewer's attention on what the main. We always say, "Where's the puck?"
Yeah, right.
There's the puck, but what are these two guys doing over here in the corner? They're having a little scuffle. We don't want to watch that. We want to watch this action. Yeah. And sometimes everyone wants to come in and at some point add their own little flair to things, So after a show is developed and the scene is set, over the years it develops, well, let's fill the space with that. Let's do with that. Let's tell the story of this. But the main thing is we want to keep that focus. So if there's some, I call it aerial diarrhea happening around, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just there. Yeah. Cirque is amazing at that. Yeah. Because you go once, you go, I have to go again just to see what you didn't see. Yeah. And that's a great strategy. But you're right. Sometimes the side stories get a little distracting.
Mm-hmm. But it's intentional.
It's intentional.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah.
All right. Since the last time we talked, you were talking about the Vegas Knights possibly coming, and then they did.
Whoa!
So take us through that whole thing. I mean, you being a hockey fan, of course, and getting to be actually involved with the Knights, and then they go to the Stanley Cup Finals, for God's sake.
What were you thinking?
What
we bought our season tickets the day we put our deposit in. The day that they announced. Okay. So we're very fortunate to go to those events. The Knights did something that our company wasn't able to do, and that was bring the community together. Of course, the October events were extremely tragic, and no one will ever forget those things. And the Knights' home game was like that week.
Right.
So they changed their whole idea of what this big event was going to be like, and what they did was they brought the community together to the point where it's very common to see Golden Knights sticker on every other vehicle or Golden Knights plates. It really is. They
became part of Vegas. Vegas strong.
Vegas born too. So it's not a team that we inherited from some other market that wasn't selling well. Bill Foley has done an amazing job bringing that organization up to the level that it's at and it attained. And Cirque and the Knights are really, really tight together too. We did within the first year on one of their active recovery, active rest weeks, they came to CAW and we did a bunch of activities with the whole team. Nice. So it was fun to see, Fleury jumping on a trampoline, even though the trainers were completely nervous because they thought he was going to break in half. But we were entered into a partnership with them to have 5 events a year on ice. So in between first and second period, we go on and do a 4-minute. So I've got this cold when the on-ice official leaves in through his gate, the main gate's open. We push on what we call the taco, which is essentially a stage that folds up like this. Yeah. All the performers are inside, and we wheel it out to center ice. The wings open up, it digs into the ice, melts into the little tiny teeth, and then we perform on it.
Do your thing.
Do our thing, and then at the 3:35 mark, the taco gets folded up, we push it off, and at 4 minutes even, the Zamboni has to hit the ice. So we're down to 4 minutes cold, and we were able to present some really good entertainment for people. And I was, when I go watch the games, we're standing next to people and from Montreal or Toronto going, this is this is as good as the hockey that we're seeing in front of us. So there's entertainment, and it's the entertainment capital of the world.
Well,
the expectation is,
that's right.
I want to be entertained.
And I was thinking about the way that, especially when they were in the Stanley Cup Finals and they were doing this big production numbers beforehand, and I was thinking, I wonder if the hockey purists are saying, what kind of crap is this? Like a Don Cherry said, this is crazy. This is not hockey. Forgot that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, no, if you didn't do it in Vegas, that would be the problem, because you are the entertainment capital. And so that made hockey really watchable for people who are just saying, oh, maybe I'll check out this.
It's unfortunate because in the playoffs, there's a different set of rules where you can't do entertainment on the ice during playoff games.
Oh.
So it was really odd. All of a sudden you're at a playoff game and there's nothing going on.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. So they would have to do all the things before the game to make it more entertaining.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, but every time I see a broadcast from Vegas, from another market, they're always impressed by how much energy is in the building, how exciting the game is, and even like I was mentioning earlier, when you get Montreal, Toronto, especially now in the West, we got Edmonton coming to see McDavid or whatever, Calgary, is half the audience, half the crowd is from the opposing team. Mm-hmm. And you think, oh, that's terrible. But then what happens is there's cheering on both sides of the ice the whole game.
Right.
And then that makes it even louder instead of just one side being loud and one side is a whimper.
Yeah.
So when the opposing team scores, it's loud.
Yeah.
It's louder when the Knights score, but I mean, it makes for an interesting game.
Well, and also it's not bad to have a team that is really good. It makes the Stanley Cup. I mean, that town must have been nuts.
It was nuts, and people who jumped on the hockey bandwagon who didn't know nothing about hockey, and we had a lot of friends like that, who are now hockey fans. They didn't understand. Yeah. Even this year when the 5-minute minor came up, they're like, well, they scored a goal. How come it doesn't end? How come it doesn't stop? So it's that level of understanding. And I always say, I was a Calgary Flames fan forever up until the Knights moved into town. And you will wait decades for your team to make it this far. Yes. So they don't understand the pain and suffering that happens for decades when your team doesn't make it. And so when this event happened in San Jose,
the 5-minute major for those,
and everybody was so upset.
3 goals late.
I was like, listen, guys, the problem happened in Game 1 when we had 34 minutes in penalties.
Yeah. They
never got rid of that bug.
Yeah.
And so that type of, it's nobody's fault but our own that we were put in that spot. So we'll learn. It's a learning thing. And they just were spoiled so early. They don't know how to.
Yeah, that could be a kind of a curse when you say, why didn't they make the playoffs again? That sort of a thing.
And I guess that, I mean, in one sense too, it might be good that they don't make the playoffs all the time because the average person cannot go to the hockey game anymore. It's the rate, the fee is so expensive.
Right.
It's already at that level.
Right.
So when the Raiders come into town in 2020. That ticket will be a big ticket too.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll take some pressure off the price of the tickets of the Golden Knights. But
I was thinking about that, and you're building a 80,000 seat stadium for football. Yeah. You got T-Mobile, Kitty Corner. You've got Mandalay Bay. You've got MGM Grand. Yeah. All of this right in that area.
Yeah.
Does anybody drive anymore in Vegas?
Well, that's just it. They hope
is there parking anywhere?
They hope you drive because then you have to pay their parking fee.
Yeah. That's another story.
But I mean, there's enough. I think that NFL is going to affect the Sunday day.
Yeah.
So when there's an NFL game, it's all NFL. I mean, there won't be parking for the average person to go to a restaurant on the strip they want to go to. So I would think that those properties are going to make sure that, and they're building hotels very close to where the Raider Stadium is, but not big ones. Only that are just the self-contained hotel.
Oh, so they're not going to have big casinos.
Not big casinos, just the hotels themselves.
So that makes sense.
They're going to cater to those people that are there. But I mean, the big giants like you mentioned, MGM and Mandalay Bay and New York, all those ones there's walking distance to. I mean, that's where people are going to want to stay. It just clogs up our system, but we go around the back way, so we don't worry about that.
Just kind of thinking on, we're trying to create a new performing arts center in Lethbridge.
Right.
How do we take what Vegas has and put it into Lethbridge for under $40 million? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of corporate money in Vegas, and they can do that. And how does I mean, who's paying for the stadium in Vegas right now? The NFL is that
That's part
private?
Part of it is subsidized by the state.
Okay.
T-Mobile was all MGM.
Oh,
it was all
okay.
private dollars. That's why it went up in a year and a half or whatever it was. It was built in no time at all. But
does the city do residents pay for any of this?
For T-Mobile, no.
No.
It was all MGM money. It was all
Nothing.
private money.
Yeah.
But the Raider Stadium has some state funds in it. So of course, then we are concerned as citizens. But you know, performing arts, I would say, I mean, when I went to Catholic Central, I never went to drama class once. I didn't even know where that those clowns. I went to the sports side of things.
Yeah.
And now I'm
that's all you do.
knee deep into understanding and trying to get out emotion from someone who's an acrobat. We're trying to get that relationship, and I really wish that I would have taken and done that.
Oh,
as someone in elementary or middle school or high school. And I think it's as important now as it's ever been. So it's about getting the taxpayers behind believing that it is beneficial for the future. Mm-hmm. It's not something in the here and now. It's something that will pay off. And what a strange job I have to work in a circus and an entertainment field that I need to know those type of things.
Yeah.
You know, fill the stage, timing, presence, all of that kind of stuff that fine arts can deliver. Music, singing. I mean, we have all that.
Yeah.
We have live singers, live musicians, it's great. They start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Why not here?
So are you going to write a check for the Dan Niehaus Performing Arts?
Yes, I will. American funds, of course.
So it'll cost you about $800.
Yeah, but it's a great thing. I hope the town gets behind it because it's a great city. I love coming here.
Well, that's again, I didn't pay you. That's good. Good to hear. I want to go back. You alluded to it, the tragedy of October 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. The horrific shooting. 58 people lost their lives. Mandalay Bay was where the shooter was.
Yeah.
Take us through that night and then ensuing, hours after that.
Yeah, it was really something. I was just leaving Bellagio because I was working at O that night, but my other show was MJ1, which was at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, geez.
So as I was leaving the parking garage, I got a text from one of my coaches, and it said, "We're in lockdown, active shooter," which is completely, unbelievable when you get that text and no one fools around with that kind of thing. So no sooner did I receive that I tried to text my wife, who was in the theater, who was still in the Bellagio finishing her shift. And she finally texted back and said, "Something's going on." I said, "I'll swing around the parkade and I'll pick you up. We'll leave your car there and we'll head home because we want to get away from the strip as fast as you can." And as we were waiting, there was 3 huge, like almost armored tank vehicles driving down, which we don't know about. You don't know about these things until they're very prepared for these type of events. And then it was just on the strip was it was kind of chaos, bedlam. People thought there was shooters in the casinos, not just in the contained area where Mandalay Bay was. We're very fortunate with our company. Unbelievably, we do active shooter training.
It's sad that we have to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad. So every year we have the active shooter training, and we'll do simulated. So we'll be partway through the show. Everybody takes their places, and they'll call active shooter, and everybody goes to their designated spot, locks their dressing room or their office. There's a safe word, code word, that we know that someone is not outside the door trying to break in.
Really? Wow.
So we're very prepared.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the event happened. The audience was actually was 3/4 through their second show, and the audience was locked down. They stopped the show. They made an announcement.
Well, they did.
There's an event in the casino. Please remain calm. We have people that take care of it. And at that point, there was Metro that were in the theater guarding the doors.
So the audience was stayed.
The audience stayed in the theater,
until
I think it was 2:30, 3 o'clock. They gave them water and took care of whatever they needed, but everybody was in lockdown. Nobody moves until the emergency is taken care of.
Wow.
So and essentially after that happened, they were going to bus all the people to the UNLV campus, and from there they would take Ubers or cabs or whatever to get back. They wanted to get them away from the premises. So I went to UNLV at 4 a.m. to meet my staff there, and then they texted, said, no, pick us up at the back of the casino. So I picked up my coaching staff and drove them home. But the good thing, Mark, was that they were never in danger. They were just locked down in isolation.
Right.
So I'm sure that by the time they were in lockdown, the events there had already transpired and that person was already taken care of. But it is a tragedy that we have to look at our society. The first thing we do is lock ourselves in place to make sure that we remain safe. But Vegas is very, very prepared and is a very safe place. I still think it's a very safe place.
Yeah.
You know, there's cameras everywhere. There's people that you don't know that are there. So I feel very comfortable. It's 40 million tourists a year. We have to take care of those people.
And half of them are clowns too, right?
And half of them are clowns. Trust me. So it's of course, when something like that happens, Vegas suffers.
Yes.
And tourism is a big part of our economy. So we have to make sure and ensure people feel comfortable and safe to come back.
Yeah.
And even now with big events, you can see the extra measures they've taken, to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a Knights game and there's the big park, and then you got the New York parking garage there. Yeah. There's security every level. There's security tape. You can't park anywhere near, and they took care of it.
Yeah.
It just was super sad and the city was, in mourning for a long time. Still is. It's a big part of our community. Still Vegas born, and Vegas strong is our big logo, and they'll keep that for a long time.
What was I know there was some amazing things that happened with cab drivers saying
everybody chipped in and took care of what everybody's needs were.
Yeah.
Everybody transported people, took care of people, fed people. Blood drives happening all over the place. I mean, it was really good, and the city won't forget about it. They'll still come together and remember it. But it was a tough week for sure.
Yeah. Has it? Would you say it's recovered?
The Vegas itself?
Yeah.
I think it's recovered. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's far too. It's almost like we've become desensitized to any kind of mass shooting anymore, which is unbelievable.
It's like mass shooting. Yeah, hit me.
Next. And it's just like, as a Canadian, we don't understand that still.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever will.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's anyway. Moving on. Actually, the Knights actually did something also for the Humboldt Broncos, did they not?
Yeah.
Which was actually very, very emotional too.
I wasn't at that game, but I know they did something.
Yeah.
And I think that the community is starting to understand that when something happens in the hockey community, it doesn't matter if it's in junior league,
just
minor,
everywhere.
Everyone feels it.
Yeah.
Because they understand that their team is not made of necessarily a lot of big city, from Pittsburgh or from Philadelphia.
It's all Saskatchewan.
It's all small town places where, they embrace the getting up at 5 o'clock to get to the rink, to get your Tim Hortons, and you stay there all day and all weekend. The expense and all of that just to get your kid to a certain level, and then maybe to the pros if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But all the things that go along with let's say hockey, because even now all the skating programs and hockey programs in Vegas are full.
Really? Oh,
they're full. So the rink that they built for their practice facility, which is in Summerlin, where I live, their practices are always open. There's never a closed practice ever.
Really? So you watch firsthand watch
you watch your players every practice, and so the rink's always full.
Wow.
Right? And now they're building 3 more sheets in Henderson, which is part of the deal with NHL. Is that to promote hockey, you have to do this kind of stuff. So. They're learning the community is not just about Vegas; it's about the sport of hockey.
That's very cool.
Really cool.
Now you've had, and I've talked to you about this. You've got to meet some amazing people over the years, like top of the list, Bono.
I met twice, and that was
okay.
Easily.
Can you kind of go through your top 5 list of guys that you met? What your thought?
That's a tough one. I'd actually have to sit and.
Well, I remember a couple that you mentioned. Bono's
number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question.
And did you have any
we talked. He came, the first time I met him was Creation of Love, and he came.
Did you understand everything he said? Is all good?
It was all good, but he's so dripping cool. He just drips, oozes. He's caught everything. These glasses, the way he holds himself, the way he walks around, his swagger. And I introduced myself as a coach, and we had a little interaction about, you know, the artists that were working. But
You said, I've got a song I'd like you to hear.
yeah, exactly. But when he came to the studio, the whole studio was a buzz. So like
Oh,
1,000 people, like, Bono's in there, Bono's here,
Yeah,
Bono's here.
yeah.
So that was great. Bono's, it definitely is one of the top ones. Shaquille O'Neal was fun. He's so massive, and
Shaquille O'Neal, big tall guy.
you be the coach, he said. Yes, I do. And he's just so ominous, you know what I mean?
Bill
And
Clinton, you said? You saw
Bill Clinton.
That was
cool.
That was real nice.
That was real nice. Not me. I work on my. Yeah.
It'll be the new Cirque show with
Yeah,
featuring
it'll
Dan
be
Niehaus' impersonations. What's have you got over the celebrity side of it now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's another big time star. Okay,
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Yeah, it just becomes, you know, a media circus, which is great.
Yeah.
Well, we love that PR, and our marketing department loves it. But at some point, for me, it's the people who haven't had the opportunity to meet celebrities. It's a time for them to do it. I'm at the point where I'd rather meet a political figure than necessarily someone like that. Bill Clinton was really interesting guy.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, I'd love to meet that guy. You know,
Donnie T.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, don't need to meet Donnie T. I said the other day, my parents, we went for coffee this morning. I said, how about we trade Trudeau for Trump? We'll do a T switch. We'll see how he handles this country and what Trudeau does with that one. Be a different wall built, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm pretty much over that. But I'd rather meet some significant people of that, make an impact, I think, more than just entertainment.
Although, you worked with Gilles Martin, right?
Giles Martin?
Giles Martin, Giles Martin,
yeah.
who was George Martin's son. George Martin, the producer of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been, I mean, because you created love with him.
Yeah,
help create.
Yeah, Sir George and Giles, I mean, back in the studio when we created Love, they were both there, and we had lunch with them, and it was something else. And we talked about the order of the show and the way in which was driven. McCartney and Lennon had their ways in which they wanted to layer the show. So we had those interactions. And then Giles, you know, when Sir George passed away a couple of years ago, Giles still came into the theater and took care of musically to make sure that everything was good. And we redid a little touch-up of Love a couple of years, 3 years ago. Yeah. And he came in and redid some of the music. But he has also moved on to other projects too. He works with other things. But it was good to get to know him and his story and his side of things. Yeah. And he just continues to work with the Beatles now.
Unreal.
You know, so he was a really cool guy to work with.
And you sang to Paul McCartney on his 64th birthday, right?
We did.
Isn't that when he's 64?
Yeah, we all got together as a group and we sang that and presented to him because he still tours. He was just in Vegas too last.
He's going to be in Vegas in August or September.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Because I think he's somewhere from
T-Mobile.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's great. I mean, he keeps churning it out. I mean, good for him.
Yeah. And what kind of, did you have much of a conversation with him? Or it's
he was interesting. He just kind of said, "Well, just keep working harder," type of thing. Very generic type.
Keep working harder. Come on, man.
Keep working harder. You're not working hard enough. But I mean, he's. I mean, I just saw an article the Rolling Stones played in Ontario. I mean, these guys are 74, 78, 76.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And with heart problems.
Apparently. Well, they had a lot of other problems other than heart problems. But I mean, that was kind of interesting. But I don't think he doesn't come by the show as much as he used to. He used to come by.
And does Ringo ever
Ringo comes by once in a while.
Yeah.
Olivia Harrison is the one that probably comes by the most.
Oh, really?
She'll come by and bring guests and stuff like that. So she's still, she's royalty to us, of course.
Yeah.
So it's always a pleasure to have her there. But
what do you see for the long haul for Cirque du Soleil? I mean, because you always got to tweak, right? You've got you got your adult Zumanity, you've got your Michael Jackson's. Did that take a bit of a hit with all of the stuff?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it did, but it's like anything. People have a short-term memory on things like that. So
and he's still got great music.
He's got great music, and he's still got a good following. So we're moving on from that thing, and I mean a lot of other stars have had kind of shaded histories that continue on too. So,
but I mean, there's also Ka, you got O, you got Mystère, and Love. All of those things are, you know. But when the recession hit, you guys must have been hit as well.
Sure, we were hit, but we were also strong enough to take that hit.
Sure. Okay.
So we were fortunate. Our production shows had that little bit of a padding in there. I do think other shows though definitely did not survive that type of thing. But right now we're facing that people have a lot of choice. They have sport, they have live entertainment, residencies, and then we're always there. So people that come in might say, well, I can see that Cirque show next time we come, but this time we can only go see it here.
Sure.
So I think that, but what our company's done is, like any good company that understands the economics of it, is we diversified.
Sure.
So we're Cirque du Soleil Entertainment Group.
Sure.
So we just don't do circus shows. We might do events. We might do music. We've got a lot of productions going on. Messi 10 is a big one in the studio that'll be based off Messi's great soccer ability.
Oh, okay.
And it's a touring show, and it's selling very well in Europe already.
Oh, nice.
And we've got Walt Disney starting, which will be premiered. Lanuba, which was closed 2 years ago, did its 20-year run almost, and now we're putting a new show in Disneyland.
Which touring or in Vegas?
No, it's going to be one in Orlando.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
We're still keeping ourselves busy around the planet, not just in Vegas.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think with Run, our new production, that'll spur some new energy. And
Let's talk about that, because you just spent 5 weeks working on it. So give me the concept. Give me everything you can tell.
Well, it's a live, what we call a live action thriller. Our first one. It's essentially 8 chapters in it. It has a very linear, it's a story. It's not like our stories of O or Mystère, where you try to follow this cryptic journey that goes on, and sometimes it gets lost, but more of you're sitting and watching a live movie. Part of it is movies, transitions might be movie screens or outtakes from different places that you'll recognize in Vegas, and then it breaks into live action. Could be so. It's based on the stunt industry. A lot of it is stunt driven. So it's a very small production, 40 artists, but we're going to have things like motorcycles, fight scenes, high falls, a lot of fire, people on fire, fighting in fire.
Wow.
We have a torture scene, which will be very squeamish for people. It made me uncomfortable, so we'll see how well that's taken. But it is really a unique experience. The music is spun by a DJ up in the corner. The costumes are very, very futuristic, but not that futuristic that it's not believable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it kind of is a Black Mirror type of thing kind of going on, and that it's kind of, it'll be really unique. It's not something that let's say my parents will go to in their 60s or 70s or 80s, but my children will really enjoy it because they'll be able to relate to what they see. It's very quick and dynamic.
Yeah.
So our soft opening is October 26th, and then our premiere is 3 weeks after that. So
And that's at the Luxor.
that's at the Luxor Theater, yeah.
How excited are you about this one?
Oh, wow. I'm sure if we can execute it, I think it's a game changer. to
Really?
entertainment.
Wow.
I think it'll be that unique with that, the projections and lighting and sound are so top-notch current day that it's going to make a difference in entertainment.
Very cool. I want to talk about the city of Vegas. I was the last time I was there, I sort of made me think Vegas is both the most incredible place to be with dining, with entertainment, with fantastic things to do. At the other end of the spectrum, there's social aspects of the Las Vegas Strip as well. With some homelessness, with people on the streets, with all sorts of non-family related stuff that goes on in the Strip. I mean, you don't really see it yourself because you're kind of go in the back way a lot, right?
Yeah.
What's your overall thoughts about the way things are in? Yeah, I mean, not only just Vegas, but any big city like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I don't necessarily. I know that there is. I would say inner city poverty and crime and all of that terrible things that goes with a city of 2 million people, but it's. I think they do a good job in helping try to curb that type of dilemma. I don't necessarily see it.
Yeah, sure.
And because Vegas is in the spotlight so much, it's not promoted all that much either.
Right,
You don't want
right.
the tourists to hear about what's happening over there. You kind of subdue. They try to take care of that type of thing. So I think it has a good infrastructure and a good support system. When I go down to Fremont Street and stuff like that, there's that homelessness and stuff like that. But I think it's my opinion. It's worse in other areas in
Sure.
California, San Diego, or well, you know, you can't get away from that. I can go to Toronto, Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary. Here, I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you'll find that trouble. But in Vegas, I really don't see it. It's unfortunate.
I think also, you know, the guys that are giving you the cards and those sort of things.
Oh,
and
those
that
people.
thing, and then there's the showgirls that want, come here, hey, come on, baby, give me let's take your picture for $10.
I'm really surprised that kind of bantering is actually accepted. I'm just surprised the casinos, but the casino only owns up to that part of the rest is not there. So if there's that type of badgering happening on the casino property, they're very good about getting them off. But you're right, there is a lot more of, you know, you see Pac-Man and Fozzie Bear and whatever else you're going to see roaming the street for pictures or panhandling stuff. It's just, I don't know. Is there a solution for that? Because I don't know what it is.
I know that there's new aromas down there too in Vegas now that it's legal.
Yeah, well, I smelled the same aromas here.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's just, you know what, it's 2020, things move on. I think it was a big deal when it first started.
But
I
now
find
it's
it less of a big deal now.
It was happening anyway.
It was happening anyway, and I really don't notice it that much. My neighborhood doesn't, you know.
What about Vegas Boulevard itself? You know, because they're building so many, you know, pedestrian pathways up and down. I'm finding it if you're at all, you know, not in shape, it's a tough walk these days. Compared.
I mean, and it looks so close. Oh, there's Treasure Island.
Yeah,
Just walk over to
Treasure
Treasure Island, but you don't go this way. You have to go 15 layers and go from there. But if you know the back ways, it's a lot faster.
Ah, okay, there you go.
Koval or Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, those back ones, which are very safe, which all the cab drivers take on to go. If you want to get somewhere fast, there's a fast way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's surprising that they haven't just, and they've talked about this a long time. It's just put a centralized kind of walkway right down the middle. And then you just transport and go right or left and do whatever you want. Or just close Las Vegas Boulevard down together. Just make it a flat old walkway, the whole thing, no traffic at all.
Well,
I don't think we're there yet.
Would upset the cab drivers, I'm sure, with that, would they?
They're upset enough because Uber's taking most of their business.
That's what I understand,
that's
Now, what about, you know, there's also, Vegas is just a town for you. It's just still a city where you live, where you bring up your kids. So what's that side of it for you? You've lived there 20 years now, and it's a great place to raise your kids.
Yeah.
And your community is just a regular community.
Completely regular community.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't even know that Vegas.
We don't even think about it. We just go to work.
Yeah.
And then we come home. Rarely do we don't walk amongst the tourists to get into where we're working. We walk through
those heathens.
It's heathens. Well, people walk and stop and look where they're going, you know, every 10 seconds. So, but up in Summerlin where I live, it's 18-kilometer drive. It takes me, you know, 20 minutes on a good day, 40 minutes on a bad day. I think traffic there is probably the lightest. In Vegas, you've been there before. Everything's supersized. The roads are big, it's wide, it's beautiful. There's no potholes because there's no weather. It's just sunny.
Yeah.
But it's a great hub too. We're close to LA, 4 hours right to here. You know, Zion, Bryce Canyon, and a lot of really interesting Grand Canyon. There's a lot of places to go. So we try to spend a lot of time at home because we have a nice area and a nice yard. We try to spend that. But when we want to, we just blast off and go hiking and stuff like that. So it's no problem.
Yeah. What do you do away from your work for entertainment? Do you go to any shows? Do you do any shows? Do you go to food?
We go to restaurants.
Yeah.
We don't go to shows very often. I mean, I see 7 shows. I could see 7 different shows a week. I don't necessarily do that. But to tell you the truth, other than hockey, we don't do much. I mean, it's expensive. Shows are not cheap to go see a headline entertainer. And we have friends that do, so we hear on there what they thought of the concert and stuff like that. But no, we will, like I said, we go to Zion, we blast off, and go camping, and tenting or whatever, and hiking.
Get your zen on.
Get my zen on. Well, and it doesn't seem like 2 million people live there.
Yeah, that's what it is? Is that the metropolitan?
Yeah, it's 2 million. I mean, it's got a big urban sprawl going to it, but they try to build forward thinking and overbuild everything. Supersize it before it becomes undersized, which is great here. I always see, not here, but in highways in Alberta, they just build 2 lanes and that's it. It's never going to have to get to 3. And then I come home and now they're building a 3rd lane. Just build that. But I mean, I get where every city's different and stuff. But My son is in right now. He's in Metro Police. He's in Police Academy. Everybody makes fun of that.
Yeah.
So, but he's there, and he's going to work. He wants to work where the action is, where Metro is. So I'm like, you could just work in the suburbs and do whatever. But he wants to be in that hub of, and there's a lot of. That's a big police department.
Sure.
Metro's a big one. So. He'll probably see things or hear things that we didn't even know what was going on. But we like our little quiet little neighborhood. So.
And you've got a daughter as well?
I've got two boys. Two boys. My son just graduated from the University of Nevada in economics, and my daughter graduates in economics too from that university in December.
Fantastic.
So December 31st, everyone's done their college,
right.
And it's up to them to see what they want to do.
Sure. And your wife works at O, right?
She's a technician, so carpentry and props technicians, but she works in the water moving things. So she's in scuba gear when I see her. A lot of the time I see her.
Sexy.
Oh yeah, I see her coffee break, and she's been on oxygen, and so it's interesting. But yeah, she's underwater and she loves it there.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
All right, so as we wrap things up here, and you think about your past 20 years, have you created or developed some kind of a philosophy of life, of looking forward, or is there anything that you reflect on and say,
that's a deep question.
Yeah,
man.
well,
it's going to take more than coffee to talk about that.
Brian, beer.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that you can never stop working on yourself or working on the next step. Yeah. We get to that age, our age maybe, that we go, well, this is it. This is as good as it gets kind of thing. And it's like, no, you have to always be ready to accept change and roll with it, because if you don't, I think in these times that you're going to get your head lopped off. So you have to be careful with people coming in and wanting to make changes, and understand, respect the past, but really think forward about what people want to see. And entertainment is one thing that has changed tremendously in the last 20 years. So if we get stuck with one type of brand, I think that you're going to be a dinosaur. You have to really consider changing it up and moving forward. So I feel like I don't feel as old as I am, because I work with some amazing young talent. Yeah. And the young people of 20 years ago and the young people that are coming in today, man, it's a different world out there. Really? I don't know if I could be a 21-year-old kid looking on the horizon what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Wow. Like, to me, it's a real, they're in for a struggle. Wow. I think there's lots of opportunities, but man, you have to seize those, because I think you're going to lose them. Yeah, I'm glad, I'm happy where I am. Very good. Final thought as we do complete it. What's your thought? What's my thought? Yeah. Final. What do you want to say? Hi to anybody? You want to say something really witty? Really witty? I thought that was the last hour. Yeah. No, like I mentioned on the way here, I was so impressed with where Lethbridge is as far as a community and a town. It's 100,000 people, but it's still got a small town feel. It still feels new. A lot of areas feel new. And it'll always be home. I love to come home and see people. If my parents are here, my brother and family are here. My sister's in Calgary and one in Nelson. But at the beginning, we used to have a lot of visitors in Vegas, and then 20 years later, it's a trickle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people kind of forget that. And I still keep in touch with some of the gymnasts that we work with. Good. But I mean, they have kids and stuff too. But yeah, it's one of those things that, your friends here are your friends for life, and it's always good to come home and see them. But my final thought, man, I don't know. It's been a crazy ride, and it's 20 years. Where's it gone? Yeah. There's no gold watch or anything like that. No. I don't need one, but the ride's still going. The ride's still going, and the experiences that I've had are quite amazing. I'm lucky to have my wife with me, and she's had it tough sometimes, and sometimes it's been good. But right now we're in that perfect zone of nice. Kids have got what they've got, and they've graduated, and so we're looking forward to the next step, which is hopefully see the world and tour. Fantastic. Dan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Cheers, Mark. Nice to chat with you. Cheers.